everybody, it's Matt from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to show you my Syn Shenron deck profile. This is more of a budget version because it doesn't have Mechibora, just to let you know. So, Syn Shenron, when he attacks, you look at top 5 for a Shadow Dragon, add it to your hand, and then the rest go back and you shuffle. At the end of your turn, you choose up to one of your Shadow Dragons in the battle area and switch it to active mode, which I completely forgot about in the game. As you do. His Awakening is if your life is at 3 or less, or you have a yellow unison card in play of a specified cost of 4, you can flip this card over to draw 2 cards and get an energy back. And then we flip him over. So on this side is when he attacks, he draws a card, and then he has auto, where all your Shadow Dragons in your battle area go to active mode at the end of your turn, so it's Planet Vegeta for Shadow Dragons. And then he has Activate Main, all of it being yellow, pay 6, you can play up to 7 Shadow Dragons with different names from your drop area. So they come straight into play. So go into the deck now then. So to start off with, we have the Unisons for the deck. So we got one Broly. So plus, well, it costs 2, plus nothing, activate main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier and switch it into rest mode. Or you can -1 to activate main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less in rest mode and KO it. And then the other unison we have is the Super Saiyan Gogeta Dynamic Fusion. Bleh. So permanent, if all of your energy is in rest mode, your mono yellow leader card gains 5k power during the opponent's turn. Auto once per turn when your opponent activates an extra card, you can add a marker to this card. It's got +1 where you can discard 2 yellow cards from your hand, and if you do, you draw 2 cards. And then -4, activate main. During your opponent's next charge phase, your opponent can only switch up to 2 energy to active mode. So if you get to that point, evil. So onto the extra cards. We have the number 1 yellow negate, the Flying Nimbus. So Flying Nimbus, negate the attack, and then you can discard a yellow card. If you do, your opponent can only attack with 1 more battle card for the turn. And then we got our sparking one of Time Magic. So Time Magic, you can take a life instead of paying the energy if you've got 5 cards in the drop. And then when this is played, if your leader card is yellow, you negate the attack, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and it stays in rest mode until your opponent's next turn. And then we've got 1 copy of Released from Evil. So it's counter attack. If your leader card is mono, yellow, choose the attacking card, ignore barrier, and negate its skills for turn. It can't be switched to active mode until the start of your next turn. And then it has a permanent where you can play this card without paying its cost if you've got a unison card in play. Does it have to have a yellow unison in play? You can activate its cost counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Right, the unison doesn't have to have a certain amount of markers on it. And then we got 1 copy of Vegeta's Final Flash. So activate battle if your leader card is yellow. You choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards. It gains 15k power for the battle. And then auto, if all of your energy is yellow, when you activate this card, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and negate its skills for the duration of the turn. And then we have 1 copy of the Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet. So counterplay if you have a yellow unison card in play. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, its skills are negated for the turn and played in rest mode. Permanent, if all of your energy is mono yellow, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by discarding 2 cards instead. Okay, on to the battle cards. All the 1 costs. There we go. Okay. So to start off with, we've got your 4 copies of the negative energy 1 Star Ball. So pay 1, it's got permanent where this card can't attack and isn't affected by your opponent's skills. And then activate main, pay 1 yellow, get a Syn Shenron with, because I always get the 1 Syn Shenron. Kill this off, choose up to 1 Syn Shenron card with energy cost between 2 and 4 in your deck, or hand, play it, and shuffle your deck if you live through it. Oh, wrong way around. Okay, and then we got the negative 2-star ball. So pretty much exactly the same, apart from it gets energy cost 2 or well, between 2 and 3. Energy cost 2 or 3, yeah. Energy cost 2 or 3. Instead, then plays them. Instead of doing 2 or 4. And then we got the Self-Awakener for the deck. Because I don't have Meki Bora, kind of have to run 4 of this. I've decided to go with the Goku because of the crit instead of the... Yellow do have a Double Striker, don't they? Yellow have a Kaba. Or am I just misthinking? Yellow doesn't have Kaba yet, does it?
No, it has a crit.
Yeah, it has the Goku.
And Krillin.
Oh, and Krillin. Okay. So it doesn't have its Kaba yet. Alright, so there you go. That's why I've gone with a crit then. So when it attacks, you can just take a life and against 10k and a crit, so it's 15 crit. You need it if you don't have Meki Bora, really. I mean, you could run Krillin as well, just for more Self-Awakening, because you've got to be at 3 or less, so you really need to control when you hit that as much as possible. And then we got 2 copies of Giru, the Dragon Ball Discoverer. So when it's played, you look at top 5 cards on top of your deck, you add that to 1 yellow unison with a specified cost of 4, or 1 yellow battle card with an energy cost of 1, and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So this is only in here to help search for the 1-star balls at the start of the game. If you don't open up with one, it just gives you the option to see it more, as well as your leader obviously attacking, so you got that. Obviously the Meki Bora is not in here, so you can't search any of your unisons. And then we've got 1 Master Roshi, Forged of Will. This is just your negate attack that can come into play and be a 5k combo on the board. And then we got 1 Counterblast Sun Gohan. So this is the new style super combos from set 10. If your leader card is yellow and your life's at 4 or less, when you combo with this card, you can either draw a card, or during your turn, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less in rest mode and KO it. And then he has an auto of when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it into rest mode. So that's all the 1 costs. On to the 2 costs, which there isn't actually many. So we've got 2 copies of the Vegeta Earthbound Pride. This is just a super combo. If you lies at 4 or less, you get to draw a card, but it's got 10k straight up. And then we got the 1 Divine Crybeerus. This is the sparking one. 5 in a drop, you get to draw a card, but it's 10k regardless anyway. Onto the 3 costs. So we've got 4 copies of Haste Shenron. Personally, I'd say you run 4 of all of the Shadow Dragons for now until there's more Shadow Dragons that come out, and then obviously you can tweak around which ones you run the higher number of and all of that. But for now, you just basically max out on these guys. So Haste Shenron, he's got critical, and then when he is played, you can add a Shadow Dragon from your drop area back to your hand that's got an energy cost of 4 or less. So you can't add the 9 cost back, but you can get pretty much any other one back. So that's fine. And then I run 3 copies of the Son Goku Absolute Annihilation. So he's got Deflect, he's a 20k, he's got Barrier as well, and Unique. And then he has a permanent. If your leader card is yellow, your opponent can't activate an extra card unless they tap an additional energy. So if they got a 1 cost negate, they've got to pay 2 and so on and so forth. And then we got 2 copies of Poutine, the Dark Sorcerer. It's got Barrier, Unique. And then auto, if your leader card is yellow, when opponent's card is switched into rest mode by a skill, you can play this card from your hand. And then it has auto once per turn when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it into rest mode. And then we've got, as the last card for the free cost, we've got Vegeta, the Prideful Transformation. So he is a blocker, he has counterplay, you can't activate the counterplay skills of other cards for the turn. The battle card being played is played in rest mode, then play this card, so you can tap down one of your opponent's battle cards that's coming into play and get a blocker out of it. And then permanent, if you have a yellow unison card with 2 or more markers, you can play this card without paying the card. Is it? Yeah, in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying this cost. So, there you go. Onto the 4 costs then. We have your 4 copies of Syn Shenron. So Syn Shenron is a blocker. When this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, you get to draw a card and you get to play the 1-star negative back from the drop area, so it comes back into play. And then auto, when this card is played, you choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards in rest mode. Choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards in rest mode, or battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less in rest mode, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then we've got 4 copies of the 4-cost Haze Shenron. So this is Double Strike, EX evolve onto a Haze Shenron with energy cost of 3. Auto, when a card evolves in this card, you switch it into active mode, so you can swing with your 3-cost Haze for 15 crit, and then EX evolve into this guy for a Double Strike here. And then he has Auto, if your leader card is a Shadow Dragon card, and you choose one Shadow Dragon card in your hand and discard it, when this card attacks or is used in a combo, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode with energy cost greater than their current energy and KO it. Get rid of those arrivals, yeah. And then the last card of the deck, we have the 9-cost Syn Shenron. So he's got Blocker, Revenge, EX Evolve for 1 yellow onto a Syn Shenron with energy cost of 4. Auto, when your opponent plays a battle card, you may choose that battle card, ignore barrier and negate its skills for a turn. And then he has an auto, when he leaves the battle area by any means, you get to draw 2 cards and play the 1-star ball from the drop area. So turn 1 you go to the 1-star, like what you're meant to do is go turn 1, 1-star, turn 2, sack it off, get the 4 costs in, and then pay 1 and EX evolve into this on turn 2. That is the ideal turn 2 play, and then you just roll from there with the deck. So there you go guys, that is my budgeted version of Syn Shenron. So thank you very much for watching. Leave any thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.